So it is a bitterly cold day here today on the homestead, and I had plans today to do this video out and around the whole homestead, but I can't even be out there 10 seconds without getting freezing cold. And so I decided to come in here where it's just a tad bit warmer and see how it goes. So today is day 3 of Vlogmas here at the homestead, and today's topic is going to be 5 reasons why we have chosen to homestead. And I'm doing a collaboration with Rose over at Wholesome Roots. So if you haven't already, you need to go over there to her channel and check it out, because she has a ton of information about goats and gardening, and she has a super sweet family, and her videos are super fun to watch. And anyway, I will link her channel in the description below, so be sure and check her out. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about this topic, and it's been really hard to come up with 5 specific reasons, because there's really so many reasons that we homestead, and they all kind of intermix together into one great big reason. I asked the family to give me 5 reasons why we homestead, because I was curious what each person would say, and pretty much everybody answered chickens. And so that's the one that I'm going to start with, because that's the one that kind of got the ball rolling for us, is the want for chickens. And what the deal is back when we lived in Texas, Miley was really little at the time, and I discovered that she had allergies, or I don't know if it was allergies, but she had reactions to like dyes and preservatives in food and stuff like that. She would kind of have these really bad temper tantrums, and she'd be really cranky all day, and she would just scream. And I know that's kind of appropriate for that age at the time, but it was like worse than what it really should have been. I did some research, and I discovered that those things can cause that kind of reaction in little kids. So basically what I did is I eliminated all processed foods from our diet. And within a couple of weeks, she was a completely different kid. And so that began our journey in wanting to eat healthier, and made us a lot more aware of what's really in our food. So to make a really long story short, we just cut out like all of the processed foods that we could. And you know, we started wanting to kind of provide our own food. And so we got 4 chickens, and at that time we lived in a small town, and we were not living in an area that was zoned for chickens. And at the time we got them, we didn't realize that. It wasn't until about 4 months or so after we got them that we were caught and told that we had to get rid of them. Well, we really didn't want to get rid of them. So what we did is we took them and hid them in another spot in our yard. Okay, well, another couple months passed, and we got caught again, and we were told that we had to get rid of them within 10 days, otherwise we were going to be fined. So at that point we had to get rid of them, and that was kind of like the turning point for us, because we were like, we have got to find a place where we can have chickens and we can grow a garden. I've pretty much always grown a garden my whole entire life, minus maybe a handful of years. But at the place that we were living, the yard wasn't very good, and the soil wasn't very good. There was too many trees, and so my gardens weren't very successful there. So anyway, between that and then wanting to be closer to family, that kind of just pushed us into going ahead and getting the ball rolling and making the move here. Basically, the want to have chickens and, you know, fresh eggs and basically any of our animals, and be able to freely do whatever we want, is one of the main reasons why we wanted to homestead. The second reason is family, and it's actually probably the number 1 reason, but I listed chickens as number 1 because they're actually what got us going in this direction. So anyway, family is next. For us, we moved here so that way we could be closer to extended family. And then in addition to that, we've discovered that by homesteading and working on projects and all of that, it has really taught our whole family to work together, and it's kind of like brought us all closer. We've always been a close family though, but it's brought us even closer, I think. So the third reason we choose to homestead is because of the food. Good quality, healthy food is one of the most important things that you can provide for your family. By being able to grow as much of our own food as possible and be able to learn to do that, it ensures that we can provide that to our family. And not only that, it's just a good feeling to know that you can actually do that for yourself and not have to rely on having to go to the grocery store. And it also forms like a deeper connection between all of us, and just a deeper appreciation where our food comes from. And the fourth reason that we have chosen to homestead is just for the country life. There is nothing better. I grew up on a farm about 1.5 miles north of here, and Michael also grew up on a farm in the area. And so up until the time that we got married, neither one of us had lived in town. And so it was an interesting experience, to say the least, when we did move to town. Pretty much our whole entire life up until we moved here, we have always lived in, they're fairly small towns. In fact, like for example, the one that we came from in Texas, it was a super small town, only had like one stoplight, but yet it was too much town for me. I just simply don't really like just having neighbors close by and, you know, hearing the sounds of traffic going by all the time and stuff like that. I just like the peaceful, quiet outside. I like to just be able to walk out like behind the barn, and, you know, it's just so relaxing and it just energizes me again. So at least for us, there's just no other place that's better to live than in the country. So the fifth reason that we have chosen to homestead is just because it is challenging. It challenges our mind. It challenges us. And, you know, there is so much to learn, and there is so much research to be done, you know, from animal care to how to take care of a sick animal to enriching your soil, to knowing what kind of vegetables grow best in your area. And there's a lot of experimenting, and you just have to try new things. And, you know, it's just, it keeps your mind so busy, and that's what I love about it. And then in addition to that, there are so many life lessons to be learned from homesteading, because, you know, there's the ups and there's the downs of life, there's the hard times, and in my opinion there is just no better way to raise your kids than on a homestead, because I feel it is very important for them to experience all of the different ups and downs of life, and to have the experiences that things don't always go the way that you plan, or that you don't always get everything that you want, but generally homesteaders always have everything that they need. And I just think that's a super duper important lesson. And then another thing about homesteading that falls kind of under the challenging part of it is that, in my opinion, there is no right or wrong way to homestead, as long as, number one, there's common sense involved, and number two, you are open and willing to learn from your mistakes and improve on them. And then that allows you to come up with your own way of homesteading, which can be fine-tuned to fit the needs of your family. So these 5 things are just a few of the reasons that we have chosen to homestead, but overall we just enjoy the lifestyle, the freedom, the being able to choose and do what's best for our family.